Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of the GVGCast. I'm your host for today, Ash Paulson, and I am joined, as always, by my good friends and GVG co-founders, Derek Bittner and Steve Bowling, as well as our superstar art director, Daniel Alba. And I don't know about you guys, but I am really feeling it today. Happy Xenoblade Chronicles 3 launch day, everybody. How's it going? I missed you guys last week. I've been traveling, but I'm back. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm so tired.
I hear that, man.
It's done.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Well, I am glad to be back. I spent a week and a half in the UK as well as Ireland, and I was basically there for my good friend and our previous TNT guest Aaron Cooper's bachelor party, aka stag party, if you're in the UK. And so I went over there to hang out with him, meet a bunch of my colleagues from my day job because they're based in the UK. And then we kidnapped him for the weekend and took him to Dublin and partied in Dublin for the weekend and had an amazing time. So I've had a lovely time over in the UK and Ireland over the past week and a half, but it's also too long. I loved it over there, but being away from my wife and you guys for a week and a half is just too much. And
yeah, there's a lot. But by the way, real quick, Steve, did you fix your mic? Because I've been seeing a lot that you're muted.
Oh, no. Steve, we can't hear you. Or I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, the lovely people cannot.
Yeah. You can have
those sultry tones.
Mr. Bowling.
There we go. I'm alive again.
Turn to us.
I don't know what it is with OBS and my specific audio setup, but it occasionally just switches the device that's set up to nothing. So I won't know it because on the audio meter, it still shows correctly. But then people just say, hey, we can't hear you. And I have to look and the device thing says device not available. I'm like, but it's right there. I'm looking at it. It's definitely available. You son of a bitch.
Well, for those of you who weren't privy to it, Steve was actually saying how much he missed me and how
I did. I actually said that. He's not lying this time.
Yeah, that is true.
So no, I am so happy to be back. I had a great time, but yeah, no, my wife did not in fact go with me, so it was just me, and I just being away from her for a week and a half. I mean, it's hard being away from her for 10 seconds, let alone 10 days. But I'm just I had a great time. I love traveling, you all know that, and I love especially traveling internationally. And this is the first time, well, the second time now that I've done that since the whole lockdown phase of the pandemic. But I'm so happy to be back. And I may actually be headed back out at the end of the month because I just found out that my day job might be sending me to Gamescom at the end of the month. So
nice.
Those Germans out there, if you're any German fans, if you're going to Gamescom, let me know.
Let me know. I actually, while you were gone, had passed along to John and asked him if he was going because I've had 3 or 4 people asking me if they're going to if GVG will be at Gamescom, and I was like, I don't think so.
and John actually he and I talked about that. So as you many of you already know, I got to hang out with the great Mr. Cartwright while I was over there in the UK, and we recorded a British Candy tier list ranking together, and did a super long Smash stream, and that was a lot of fun. And it was so great. I haven't seen John in person since E3 2019 during the Game Explain days when he came out to LA to hang out with us, and it was so great to hang out with him in person. Man. I know. And I got to meet his lovely, lovely family in person, finally, Roxy and Amelia. They're the sweetest, cutest little family unit. I got to see him and Roxy dancing with Amelia. She is the happiest, cutest baby. I mean, it didn't just fill my wholesomeness meter. It made the whole damn thing explode. It was a lovely time. And
it's time for kids.
No.
Biological clock.
It didn't have quite that effect on me. It just warmed my heart. It warmed my heart. My heart's over here, not over here. My heart's over here.
Ash was Googling quick vasectomy UK.
Oh, man. Well, I do have a lot to talk about from my UK trip and such. And I know we have a lot more to talk about with today being Xenoblade Chronicles 3's launch day. But before we get into that, we do have a sponsor for today's episode. And that is, as always, the amazing Game Orb. The Game Orb is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While games like Splatoon 2, Sonic Colors Ultimate, and Super Mario 64 can be seen on the channel, along with others, The Game Orb will also now be adding Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu to the gaming collection. So be sure to subscribe to the Game Orb at the link in the description, as well as the Game Orb actually sent over 3 more videos of their own selection that they feel best represents their content. And I have updated those. They show off Roller Coaster Tycoon Part 1, Unbox Newbie's Adventure, and Smash Ultimate. So there are links to those in the description as well. So please do go show the Game Orb all the love. Check out their content. Subscribe to their channel. And I am posting a link to their channel in chat right now and pinning it as usual. So, yeah. What have you guys been up to since I was away for the last week and a half? How's it going, you guys?
I mean, I guess mine's kind of the most obvious. I was hitting a very hard deadline.
Yeah, you were, man.
We were all joined here today by the Xeno Chad himself over here. That was an incredible video. If you haven't seen it already, please do. It is very informative, and I learned a lot. As with
it's also spoiler free. I made a point of that. Every one of these retrospectives, no matter what it'll be on, will be spoiler free. If gameplay, plot is important, but generally you don't need to know the whole plot for a retrospective. That's not what that's about. That's retrospectives are more about here's the information, not here's how the story comes together. You play it and figure that out.
Right.
Yeah. That's get that interest in there. But yes, I was pressured in the first place just because I have to take a bit of a trip next week. And so I won't be here for next GVGCast, and I'll be gone from the middle of the week, which ties into something else. But I was like, okay, I have to get this finished. And then the review date came out because I had no idea what the embargo was, but we didn't get an early copy. And then that hit, and I'm like, okay, I have a sweet spot between the reviews going out and the game actually releasing. I need to hit that sweet spot. So I was editing like crazy. And honestly, I got the main editing done a reasonable time the night before before release, and I thought it was all good. I did not realize that finding music and rewatching the video to make sure everything was all set would take me until 6 a.m. the next morning.
Oh my goodness,
dude, you really have been burning the midnight oil on that, and
so
I can't stress enough how amazing a job you've done. I personally have only had time to watch the first 30 minutes so far.
How dare
but I will
you.
be finishing that well, I did just get back on Thursday.
I watched it twice.
A 20-hour flight or a 20-hour
It's okay. I watched your
Thursday.
part for you, Ash. It's all good.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, but
the funny thing is that mostly covers all the Xenogears and Xenosaga stuff. It's God, the backstory on some of this. Like I made a fun little tweet ages before that it came out, that just because I was working on it at the time. I just said, so basically saying Panel de Pon saved Monolith Soft. I'm not wrong. It's amazing how that team came together. The funny thing is, it's out. I succeeded in getting a special edition along with Daniel here. We got that special edition. We're super fans. We want to have that, and obviously the goodies aren't coming until September, but we want the game as well. That'll be a good thing to have. Guess what? Mine doesn't arrive until Tuesday.
I gotta say, like,
my email like 10 minutes ago.
I'm mad for you guys by proxy. Like, I feel like that is the most messed up thing to do, especially to your fans who are willing to pay the most for the game. Like, you guys paid a premium to get a literal premium version of the game, and Nintendo's like, you guys definitely didn't want it the day it comes out, right? Like, 9 days later, that's good.
Ridiculous.
I really wish it was if Nintendo had the same kind of standards that I experienced with Namco Bandai. Because when I purchased the special edition for Tales of Arise, it definitely was not going to arrive on that day, and many people were given the digital code the day of to be able to play the same day. And I was a fool to think that would happen in this case. There's no
Nintendo revoked the digital code for me thanks to freaking Neo. The World Ends With You. So
I remember.
That didn't happen.
I joined you on that, and I got mine taken away.
God.
And I don't ever order from the Square Enix store anymore because a lot of their stuff is so overpriced in general. But I will say that when I used to order limited editions from the Square Enix store, I did sometimes get stuff early. I remember I got the collector's edition of Lightning Returns like 3 days early before release date. So that was kind of cool. But that's the worst feeling when you get it after and you've already paid a premium.
It's not just us. It's most. I think most people who got it, like a few might have gotten lucky, but most people who got the special edition not playing it. So that's forced a lot of people to basically buy it again or use. We'll get this version and play it, and then we can return it when it's time. Whenever the special edition arrives, so that way we can still enjoy it the day of release. The funny thing for me is because of me leaving on the trip, I leave Tuesday. I would not have the game with me by the time I arrive, so I wouldn't be able to play until next Friday, a week later.
Right.
That is brutal.
That's brutal
for me.
I streamed the first 2 hours of the game today, and I haven't been back to it since, just because I had other stuff to do. And I'm like already itching. Like I'm like, why do we have to podcast today?
Yeah.
I want to see more of this game.
You're lucky I'm here because I had a very. I'm not. I didn't. They asked not to be named or anything like that, but I had a very, very kind fan reach out to me and offer me a digital code. So I do have a digital.
So cool. Of
Which
them to do that.
super fucking cool of whoever did that. I just want you to know
major,
that I
major
appreciate
thanks.
That's awesome.
And as I think it's Rihanna Caster says in our YouTube chat, props to C for holding it down last week with the live stream. Love that. We did that instead of GVGcast last week, and that's kind of where I'm at. Is I can't wait to play Xenoblade 3, but I've also been really hyped for Live Alive, and I got to play that before I move on to Xenoblade 3.
I almost want to take Live Alive to our Twitch and play more of it, just because I had a lot of fun playing it with the audience, because there's a lot of like dialogue choices and stuff in Live Alive. And so I liked putting them up for a vote and just letting them decide my fate. Fortunately, they chose really well in most cases.
Some of that dialogue gets really spicy. I'm really looking forward to playing more of the game because I love the demo.
I love that little bit that Rebecca Stone put out there.
It's so funny
because it rivals your Mega Man line that you.
I know it's so good, and I'm like, whoa, okay. Some of it got spicy in the demo, but I didn't know just how much crazier it gets, and I'm really looking forward to playing more and playing Xenoblade 3. And next month we've got can't believe it's already August, but next month we've got the Cowabunga collection coming out on the 30th, which I'm also really excited for. So
which is also right next to God, I wish I had gotten Xenoblade early, because then it would have given me time to actually play Soul Hackers 2, because I'm still very interested in that. But I RPG fan put out there that they went for completion for their review, and they said 130 hours.
Oh boy.
I don't have time for that, man. And I've heard like Xenoblade 3, if you're going for completion, it's like 150 plus hours, and I'm just like, okay, I will not be going for completion because I don't have time for that. I just don't. But I want to play the game, of course.
I mean, I probably will.
I know.
Knowing how addicted I'll get.
Yeah.
No, not 130 hours for Soul Hackers. 130 for Xeno.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you've put in 130 hours into Soul Hackers 2 a month before it comes out, how long have you had that game?
I think Soul Hackers, from the rough idea I've heard since I've fortunate enough to hang out with SMT, the SMT fan, they're saying it's around 50 to 60 hours. So still meaty, but half the size of Persona 5. So that's something.
Persona 5 is coming in October too, man.
That's coming too. For those who haven't played it before, I feel sorry for y'all, because that's a long game.
That's a game that does not respect your time, which is why I want to play it on the Switch, because then I can play it in bed.
Right. Well, I did want to share a couple of anecdotes from my recent travels to the UK and Ireland. First of all, I do want to thank our good friend and fan Twilord for telling me about a few things I needed to try while I was in Ireland, specifically Dublin. They reached out to me and said, okay, you got to try Offbeat donuts, which I did, and they were delicious. I had a regular glazed donut and an Oreo donut, and both were great. But more importantly, they said, you got to try a spice bag. And I'm like, what's a spice bag? And they said it's basically a form of like Chinese takeout in Dublin, where it's basically fries or chips, as they call them over there, with like all these different spices on them, and then your meat of choice, like chicken. I had a chicken one and a duck one, and they're like whole cut slices of onions, green peppers, red peppers.
All right, now you're losing me.
With all these different spices and like cumin, and it was so good. But I guess you're not into the onion thing, Steve. Is that
If you tell me there's a whole ass slice of onion in anything, I'm gonna look at you funny.
Well, so, like the ridge slices, not like I'm biting into an onion, but like the little pieces of, I don't know. I really like.
Like, are they
onion.
diced, or is it like a full like onion length slice of onion?
Oh,
Well, no, it's like a slice, but it's not like a large slice. I don't know.
Is it cooked or raw? This is really important to me. I'm invested now.
and all the details.
They were cooked. They were like, they was all cooked together, like tossed together into like this delicious, seasoned, spicy, sweet.
I would try it.
Box of deliciousness, and I had 2 of them, and they were amazing.
I don't know that I'd try the duck one though. I don't know.
No, not a duck fan.
I don't know if I'm a duck fan or not, but I've seen enough ducks.
I had duck once, and I'm a white meat person over dark meat, and duck is all dark meat, so it's yeah.
I feel like Derek and I are of the same mind on duck then, because
duck
I
is
don't eat dark meat like when it comes to poultry usually.
So you've never had like Peking duck or anything?
I mean,
no,
I don't think so.
You guys are missing out. I'm just saying.
Next time I'm in LA, or we're all gonna, we're all gonna be in Seattle soon. That's probably the next time I'm gonna see you. I bet we could find a Peking duck in Seattle.
Oh, dude, so
I would lay good money that we could probably find one.
That is extremely rude of both of you, because a duck is just peeking out around the corner and you go eat it.
I've been playing enough Fortnite to know that when something peeks out, you shoot it.
And then, of course, I got to spend plenty of time with my good buddy Aaron Cooper, taking him on Stag Party. That was a lot of fun, and I got to hang out with our compatriot John in person. Like I said, met his lovely family. Got to record some a tier list of trying British candy. But I do have to relay a bit of an interesting story that I had on the way home yesterday. So I had the travel day from hell yesterday. I had a 3-hour flight from Heathrow to Helsinki. And then I had a 4-hour layover in Helsinki, and then an 11-hour flight home to LA. It was just a long, long day.
But did they cancel your flight and send your bag ahead of you?
That they didn't do. So I had a horrible experience kind of like that when I was in Heathrow last month going to the Netherlands with my wife. But that didn't happen to me this time, thankfully. But on the way back, on my 11-hour flight back to LA, I was sat next to this older couple. And as we got off to, on the flight, after we took off, they started going through the movies and deciding what they wanted to watch. And they landed on Wonder Woman 84. Okay, I didn't think it was very good. Yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but whatever. Maybe they hadn't seen it. I was like, whatever. So they watched the movie, right? First, they watch it on his screen. And the key word there is first. So first, they watch it on his screen next to me. And then I swear to God, 5 minutes after the credits roll, they start watching it again on her screen. And I'm like, that's weird. That's weird.
Did you not see it?
And they weren't sleeping or anything. They laughed and had a great time all the way through their first viewing of the movie. And then they start watching it again, and they watched the whole thing. They weren't sleeping. They were reacting. They were having a great time. And then they watched it a third time 5 minutes after that on his screen again. I'm like, what am I?
Holy crap. They really like that.
Are you stuck in the time loop?
They had like Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's like a great movie, but I wouldn't want to watch that 3 times in a row right after another. But Wonder Woman 84 isn't a good movie. If you've seen it, it's not good. And I'm like, they must be the biggest Wonder Woman fans in the universe to want to watch that movie 3 times in a row. And I'm like, what am I experiencing? This is so weird. So anyway, that was just kind of a strange anecdote from my flight.
Wow.
And by the way, that 11-hour flight, if you can help it, don't fly Finnair. There was no air conditioning, and that was not fun.
Oh, God.
That was not fun. So try not to fly Finnair if you can help it. But yeah, so that was my weird flight experience on my way back to LA yesterday. But as I said, I am quite happy to be home. But we do have, as always, some super chats because you all are so generous. You're so kind and generous every week. So let's go ahead and read out some of those super chats. The first, of course, is from our good friend Aramis Baramis with $100. Ooh. Dude, you are so incredibly generous. Oh my God, thank you so much. Hey, GVG crew, happy day after the Xeno retrospective release day or Xenoblade 3 release day. That works too. Major props to Derek, not only for getting it done in time, but in a fantastic state. Watched it yesterday, and it was a great time. Have a great stream. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
that is extremely generous. Like, my God.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And as we've been saying, Derek absolutely killed it. So if you haven't watched his Xeno, I keep saying Xeno retrospective.
Dude, trust me, as somebody who went through a ton of footage,
Yeah.
there is no consistency.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, and it doesn't matter, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just used to Xeno.
Xenogears, the Xenogears trailer starts it just has them go Xenogears. Like it's a very weird trailer that they have there. And then some say Xeno, and the others say Xeno. There is no consistency between any of these games.
It's true.
Right. Yeah. Thank you again, Aramis.
Yes.
Seriously. Next is $2 from Scar the Dragon. Thank you very much. With another matchup here. Cammy from Street Fighter versus Min Min from ARMS. You choose. I mean, I love Min Min and all, but I feel like this has got to go to Cammy, right?
Yeah, I gotta go Cammy.
If you're up on your GVG lore, you know where I'm gonna go with this. So I'm just gonna say Cammy would win.
How
10 times out of 10.
Exactly
Especially a hungry Cammy.
how hungry she is.
Oh yeah.
Has Cammy had lunch?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Has Cammy had lunch? That decides it. I think even if she hadn't, though, I think.
No,
I think
I honestly
just
think
straight up fight. Like,
Yeah.
Cammy was one of my mains in Street Fighter 4.
Oh, Cammy is agile as heck. Like she would
Cammy's
definitely
so
get
cool.
close in on Min Min and just mop the floor with her.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite Street Fighter characters for sure. So yeah, Cammy. I think we all are agreed it's Cammy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Next is Jaden Buck with $5. Thank you, Jaden, with the latest crazy question. Crazy question Fridays, crazy question number 47. When teleportation devices become mainstream technology, how much do you think they will cost? Man, I feel like it's going to be like healthcare here in the U.S., where it's just going to be obscenely expensive and probably only available to the elite.
Super rich.
Well, to
yeah.
be fair,
rich,
I think when
slightly.
you classify a technology as mainstream, it's when it's out of that phase. Like
You got
think
a
about
good point.
I
DVD
guess
players.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like when DVD players were
You know,
brand
fair
new,
enough.
they were like $1,000, and I wouldn't have called
Yeah.
them mainstream.
So here's the thing. I feel like it'd be, $500,000, but it'd be extremely like power hungry. And that's where they get you. It's just like electrical bill just jacked up.
And who would subsidize it too? Like, I don't even know. Who
I think
necessarily would.
teleportation technology would raise a whole host of ethical questions too. Like, are you being killed and then recreated rather than teleporting
Right.
one person in their
Yeah.
car? Like, are you
Jeez.
being just atomically disassembled, and does that steal whatever? Like, is it the same person that arrives on the other end, or just
I
a really
mean-
fancy clone?
You're a fan of the Prestige.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Right?
I don't know. Like, I would be terrified to try. I'd be like, send over someone I don't like that much first.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I'm just expecting the Spaceballs thing. It's like just end up with your head backwards.
Oh
I
god.
still love that line.
Be so
You know,
weird.
on-
Could you imagine if they messed up teleporting you? You're like, I have 3 index fingers
know.
now. It was a glitch.
Yeah. Well, on this note, this reminds me of something I just retweeted, and I don't know if y'all are ready to feel old, but George Jetson is going to be born this Sunday. His canonical birthday is apparently July 31st.
You know someone's going to
2022.
name their kid that. You
I
know
know.
now that.
I hope
Oh,
I hope
no.
so.
Totally is.
I mean, one of my favorite jokes is still from Harvey Birdman with the Jetsons so up and we're like, we're from the far off age of 2010. And he looks at the year and it's 2019, like 2011 and 2012. He's like, okay.
I don't know. I feel cheated. I mean, George
2002,
Jetson's
that's
going to
it.
be born on July 31st, and yet we don't have any of the stuff that the Jetsons promised us. We don't have casual space travel. We don't have flying cars. None of that cool stuff that the Jetsons promised us. I feel cheated by
At
science.
least for now, we still have land.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. We do still have land. That is, you know what? That's a fair point. But yeah, thank you, Jaden, for that interesting topic. Next
Yeah.
up is our good friend Rec BCQ with $5. Thank you very much. Pulling myself away from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna to watch this. I decided to
I'm
finish
impressed.
that before playing 3, but XC2 is amazing, so I can't complain.
It is
Hell
great.
yeah. I have
Torna's
not
fantastic.
played Torna. Everyone tells me Torna's
Torna's
great.
fantastic.
I played XC2, but I never got around to Torna. I feel like maybe I should try to play that before 3, but I want to play 3.
The thing is, it's not. I don't think it's necessary for 3, but it's really good. A really good addendum to 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's absolutely.
Right, fair enough. Okay, so it's not necessarily super needed for 3 necessarily, but
I don't.
Yeah,
as far as
yeah.
I know, I mean, having
Yeah.
speaking as somebody who has not touched 3, I don't think so.
How do
Fair
we
enough,
know?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rec. Next up is Jacob Tucker with $2, and thank you so much. But I feel like I'm gonna almost regret reading this. I think there was a typo, but I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. But fitting
Hmm.
that I'm roughing Pyra and Mithra
Maybe
today.
touching?
Well, that would be just as
Hold on.
That'd
awkward,
be
though.
less.
I don't know if that's less or more awkward than roughing
I don't know,
Pyra and
Jacob
Mithra.
Tucker. You have some explaining to do.
Not sure.
You need to
But-
ask some questions.
Guessing
Fitting-
it's in Smash.
Maybe playing?
Maining?
Maining?
I don't know.
Oh, it means I'm drawing a rough draft.
Oh, roughing.
Thank
I don't
you,
know
man.
artistic terms, so
Okay.
That
Yeah.
just goes to show how dirty all of us on the panel are.
Exactly. I didn't even
And how much
think
of an artist I actually am not.
I've literally never heard the term roughing in relation to art. So
I just
yeah,
hear
clearly-
sketching, rough sketching.
yeah.
Really?
I as a writer, I just do like I wrote my rough draft.
Yeah,
I don't-
I will say I'm drafting something. I definitely.
Yeah, I would say drafting or Clearly, my mind.
I mean, even out of
goes straight
context,
to
it's
the
like,
gutter
are they
stuff.
putting Pyra and Mithra on a sports team? Are they coming to Mario Strikers?
Right.
Oh my
I
God,
like
could
that you had the wholesome alternatives, Derek, where Steve and I went straight to the gutter trash.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
gutter.
roughed me like one of your French girls.
Oh my god! And on
Oh.
that note,
Heyo.
Anyways.
25 with $5. Thank you, Bladestar. Last week, I finally managed to get a PS5. Now that
Nice.
it's here, I'm so excited
Hey.
to completely ignore it as I played Xenoblade 3 because priorities. Yeah,
Fair.
totally fair point. But congratulations on the
Yeah.
PS5.
Yeah.
And, as I've said before to everyone else who says they get a PS5 during GVG casts, do not sleep on Astro's Playroom. It's like the best pack-in game ever. You must play it. Don't sleep on it. Please don't sleep on it. Check it out.
And
That's
then
all I
get
have to
Ratchet and
say.
Clank.
And then get Ratchet and Clank
Yes.
ripped apart. Yes, indeed. Next up, Storysmith with $4.99. Thank you very much. You're forced to wear this at all times till the end of time. Please pick one: Mario's hat, Link's cap, Luca's helmet, Master Chief's helmet, or Professor Layton's hat. I'm going straight to Luca's helmet because she is in fact my second favorite character of all time. So I gotta rep Luca. What about you guys?
I look terrible in hats, but I got to rock Professor Layton. At least that's fancy.
Nice.
Get that top hat.
Dude, I want to rock that one too. I look like a villain with this hair. Just
Yes.
I'm with Derek and Daniel, but for a completely different reason. I just want the questions I would get when somebody inevitably sees me naked with that on. Like,
Inevitably.
yeah. They'd be like, "Hey man, do you take that off ever?" I'd be like, "Nope." Even in the shower, nope. The hat stays on
man.
during sex.
Oh
What about
God.
you, Daniel?
Yeah, I would wear Layton's hat just to be as dapper as possible, and I would, as mentioned, I'll probably look like a villain with this hair just flowing. Replace the
Nice.
headband.
I mean, the funny thing is, Layton only wears like a orange sweater and a overcoat, so it's not like he's super fancy. It's just a top hat, so you're sort of set.
It's true.
I
Simple,
realize that
stylish.
Luca's helmet would probably not be very comfortable, especially if I have to wear it till the end of time, but it's still Luca, so I have to rep her. But Storysmith, I have to say, I'm a little offended that Mega Man's helmet wasn't one of these options. I'm just saying.
As Ash has often fantasized about never taking it off.
Clearly. All right. Well, next is Master C2344 with 14 Australian dollars and 99 Australian cents. Thank you so much. Derek's Xenoblade retrospective was awesome. Yes, it was.
Indeed.
Yes,
Thank you
indeed.
so much.
Indeed.
I'm curious. Can this become? Can this outpace SMT? Become the new number 2 video on the channel?
Let's
We'll see.
shoot for number one.
We'll
Come
see.
on.
Let's make it.
Well, yeah.
shoot for
I mean,
number
I'm
one.
still. I would love to dethrone John and
Scott and
Scott.
Alfred.
that
Yeah.
that'd feel
Nitro.
pretty good to dethrone a Scott video, and
Right.
even if it's on our own channel, but still.
All right. Well, one more super chat for now, and then we'll get on with the show and read out the rest of the super chats later. Chaos Gamer with $5 Canadian. Thank you very much. What obscure N64 game do you hope comes to NSO? For me, it would be Iggy's Wreckin' Balls and Fighter's Destiny. Love your content. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Chaos Gamer. My pick for that would be the first Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.
Oh,
The
come
first
on.
Goemon game.
Good
Of
choice.
course.
Oh, yeah. Steve and I both love that game. Sorry I took your pick, man.
No, that's okay. I would also be okay with like Blast Corps getting it. Like,
Oh, good one.
that is a game that doesn't get enough love, and I don't think has really been re-released on anything.
Did it come to the Rare Replay?
Oh, was it on
I
Rare
think
Replay?
it did. I think
Yeah,
it was on Rare Replay.
Yeah, wasn't
they did. That offline did confirm Rare Replay, which is on Game Pass, so you could play that right now, John.
Oh man, now I need to go back and play that. I love that game. It was just the mindless stupidity, but it was really fun.
Yeah. Daniel, I'll let you go in case I don't want to take any of yours. So
Oh no, I am the only one who is going to say and will always say Lego Racers for the N64.
I had a feeling, but
Nobody
just in case you threw a
understands.
curve.
Nobody understands until they play it. Maybe it's not as good as I remember, but I love that game and I want to play it again. And so please.
I'll toss out just for fun, just because I always say it. So I'll toss on a curveball. Mischief Makers is always my number one.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
also,
Hell yeah.
but I also really like Dan Alpha Line's idea of Rocket Robot on Wheels. And I'll toss this out here if we're going racing games. Beetle Adventure Racing.
Hell yeah.
That's a good one. NBA Hang Time is another one that I really like. It was like wannabe NBA Jam, but you had like werewolves and aliens and stuff. It was really fun.
I love how that's still wannabe.
Yeah.
Sonic, who in our live audience chat says, "I want Quest 64 unironically," and you know what? I'll co-sign with you on that because it's not a good game, but it's also not
boy.
like people say it's the worst game they've ever played. It's not the worst game I've ever.
Oh no, it's just boring.
Yeah, it's
It's
not a good
very
game,
boring.
but it's a curiosity. It is very boring. But I wouldn't mind seeing it again in the context of 2022 just to see how badly it's aged. Because it wasn't good at the time.
It could
And-
not be more disappointing in 2022 than it was in like 1998. Because I remember being
one of
hyped
3
for it.
RPGs on the N64.
I was like, N64 is finally getting something to crush Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
No.
If only.
Well, that's it for the super chats for now. I know more have come in. I will read them out later in the show. But before we move on, I just do want to give a quick birthday shout out to our friend Bullcraft Max on Twitter and here in the YouTube chat. It is their birthday today. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Man,
much
what a
for
Good game to play while you're on your birthday.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
absolutely.
I hope somebody
And-
bought it for you.
I know,
Yeah,
me too.
seriously.
But yeah, happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. And I did see you in chat earlier. Thank you for spending some of your birthday with us, Bullcraft Max. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously the big thing, the big story of the day, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is out. You already know I haven't played it, but Derek and Steve, and I think Daniel, all of you have been playing it. Is there anything you guys want to talk about regarding
I
Xenoblade
have
3?
not played it yet, so I'll defer to these two.
Oh, I thought you had for some reason. My bad. Okay.
Like I just haven't had a chance. I'll be playing it after this. Like I said, you're lucky I showed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I have no idea how it starts. I don't really want to know how it starts. So just in a general sense, does it pull you in, Steve, from those? Because I'm going to assume that Daniel played much more than you did.
Yeah, he almost certainly did.
I'm
Go ahead.
no, I'm gonna get outed because as we already discussed, I have the collector's edition coming to me, and I had a moment of weakness last night. I had some funds in my account. I had some gold points, and I was like, let's just get rid of this. This is off the table right now.
Nice.
And I played maybe 8 hours so far of
Jeez.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Jeez.
And,
yeah.
It is very good. I don't know how much I can say right now because I know people are playing.
I don't want to
anything.
travel into spoiler territory. So what I'll say
no
is
spoilers for
we
sure.
played
Yeah.
2 hours live on the channel today, and that's the extent of what I've played. And that first 2 hours was mostly just like exposition and tutorials, which
There's a lot of story.
yeah,
that makes
a
sense.
lot of story. They, like any good RPG that's going to take a long time, they load you with a lot up front, like introducing you to the world and the combat. And I have to say, the combat feels, at least at this early stage, very reminiscent of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like it felt familiar enough to where I felt like I wasn't like thrown into the deep end of something and couldn't understand it. So a lot of the basic principles are there, but I still haven't I still haven't even uncovered like the other half of the characters that have been shown in trailers. So I'm still very, very early on. But I purposely did gathered items and did side quests so that folks that were watching along didn't just get bombarded with story details for the whole stream. And it was fun. Like the Collectopedia is different, but I kind of like it. Like you have these Collectopedia cards, and it makes it, at least in my opinion, easier to track individual things that you need to get for people.
That's
But
interesting.
the
'cause I
combat
think
was super,
2 dropped
super
Collectopedia
engaging.
completely, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So,
this one has
Well, it's bad.
cards. Like I don't want to
Interesting.
spoil anything because I don't know what is or isn't considered a spoiler.
Right.
Like it's mechanical,
Right.
but I still don't want to be like, here's how it works, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
part
right.
of your first couple hours. But I will say, like, it pulled me in hard. Like it has that quality of like when the stream was over, I was like, okay, stream's over. I'll just pick it up and keep playing now.
I mean, when I
Sure.
picked up Xenoblade 2 and started playing that, I was just sucked in by the Argentum Trade Guild. That was
Yeah.
enough for me. It's like, it's a nice little area
Great
to get
music there,
yourself
too.
started. But go ahead, Daniel. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, this is the intro, as you might have already seen or taken notice from the trailers that we've already been experiencing. The trailer starts a lot less lighthearted than what we see in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm trying to parse what I shouldn't say, but there are a lot of things about it that I appreciate it. They really learned their lesson about tutorials because they will steadily hand out tutorials, and then there's a whole glossary of tutorials to refer back to
Yeah,
for everything
man.
and a lot of stuff they don't mention in the first place. But
I had a
just,
feeling that they would probably do that.
oh, yeah. And there's just a lot of little things that they've done to make it feel really good. Like interchanging in between using different characters, it's very easy to do so. Like usually I try to stick with the main character and not try to switch around, but I actually want to experiment with everybody in the class, and it's going to have reasons for you to do so as you continue forward. And just the tiniest little thing that I really appreciate is the little arrow on the UI that tells you, are you on the left, the right, the front, or the back of the enemy, so that you can actually use, your back attacks, your side attacks, so that you're gonna hit, instead of just assuming, oh, you might be a little bit off to the right or left too much. Little things like that, quality of life, that's making it really accessible, more so than in the other Xenoblade games.
Yeah,
A lot of the
you're
touch up on
absolutely
that pretty
right.
well.
And you can tell that Monolith has gotten a lot more comfortable with the Switch since, launch, because visually, 3 looks way better than 2. Like it's dramatic how much better it looks in my opinion. Like I engaged in some battles where I would say that if I had been playing 2, you would have seen a noticeable downgrade in visual fidelity to like keep the game from
Right.
chugging. Whereas with this one, while you still notice it happen from time to time, it doesn't seem like it hits as low of a point in resolution. Again, that's just judging by my own eyes, like I haven't watched Digital Foundry's review or read anyone's review because I refuse. But it looks to me like I remember playing 2 and thinking like, wow, game kind of looks shitty here. Like it's starting to get real grainy in docked mode. And I noticed that just doesn't seem to happen as severely in 3. Like even in fights where like 5, 6, 7 enemies are on screen with a bunch of party members on screen too, all attacking each other, I noticed that the game still held together relatively well. Like I didn't notice the effect of it getting like, the resolution dropping to keep the game running well happening nearly as harshly as it did with 2.
Right, and I've actually heard the same take, that it looks a little bit better on handheld mode. Man, so I've been hearing what you guys have been saying, and I have a bit of a concern, and I want to see how you guys answer this question. But as you know, I have the unpopular opinion of not liking Xenoblade 2's battle system as much as Xenoblade 1's. And Steve, you said that the battle system reminds you of Xenoblade 2's, but Daniels, you said that there are more quality of life features to make everything a little bit more digestible. So what would you say to someone like me who didn't really like Xenoblade 2's battle system? Should I be worried, or is it different enough that you think I'll be okay? What do you guys think?
Oh man.
I think you're going to be okay with this, because one of the things I think that in quotations, overcomplicated the Xenoblade 2's battle system is interchanging blades, having different skills, trying to see how everything works with each other. And there's a lot of layers into that. And here you're just, as far as where I'm at, you're just controlling the characters. Each character has 3 arts they used in battle. They have other auto attacks and such that you recall from other games. And it's a bit more simplified to the point where I think people will adapt to this much more easily than they did for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I think it's for the benefit of people who weren't as comfortable with how complicated it did get into. But I'm still getting introduced to new mechanics, so that may change. But it's pretty gradual how they're introducing more stuff.
They usually do a pretty good job about the gradual increase, and that's why you probably like Torna better as far as in combat, Ash, because it is, you
I've heard
have
that
those
too.
base
Yeah.
characters, and I get it, but I mean, let's move on in topic, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave you guys soon and just start
Darren's
playing.
just gonna take off.
Yeah, that was really the only
When-
question I wanted to ask before we wrapped up. Oh, go ahead, Derek.
My only tiny little other thing is that this game has specific menu music and it's wonderful. I want to just stay on that menu music
Ooh,
forever.
nice.
It is
I can't wait to hear the soundtrack in general.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
it's great so far. Yeah.
Cool.
So curious. I'm going to have a moment like I did with More Ardain and just like, oh my god.
Well, let's move on from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because there's another thing I really want to talk about, and I know Steve feels the exact same way about this. A thing happened this past week that absolutely consumed my attention. I was refreshing the Resetter thread on this over and over again, nonstop, all week. But NieR Automata, there was a thing that happened earlier this week where a video was posted that purported to show a hidden door in the copied city area of the game that nobody had ever found before. And it was really, I mean, it was incredibly convincing. And, you know, you go into this door and then you fall down this long shaft, go down this twisted hallway, and you end up in this church, the secret church that nobody had ever seen before. And the way this mystery has unfolded over the past week had everyone questioning, is this some sort of, you know, alternate reality game, ARG thing going on? Does this guy who goes by the name Sad Futego on Reddit, does this person have some sort of pre-production copy or have access to cut content? Is it a mod? But then the mod community was talking about how this is light years beyond what the NieR Automata mod community is known to be capable of, so it can't be a mod. What is this thing? And as it turns out, it actually is a really, really, really good mod. It was showing off a new set of mod tools for the game that are going to be released in the coming days. But you guys, I don't know. I know, Steve, I know you have been following it the way I did. I don't know if Derek and Daniel, you guys did, but this...
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, cool. This was the most amazing thing to follow, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so cool.
It was the entire time that this was happening, like Yoko Taro could have said, no, this isn't anything happening, this is fake, this is just a mod, and any other people could have just said that too, but he just let it ride, he just let it happen. Probably from his perspective, this is people talking about my game, so we'll just let them talk about it. It's not hurting anybody, it's not hurting the integrity of NieR or anything. It's just something that's, you know, expanding what we know about the game, or we think we know about the game. But I love the fact that he just let everybody go and go wild for the whole week that this went on for.
Yeah. I gotta say, I don't think I was ever fooled on this one, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy I can be on the right side of history on this one. I tweeted a couple days ago that it was definitely fake. And the reason for that was that this thing had all the hallmarks of being fake. You have like a weird account that popped up out of nowhere claiming, like, you know, acting like this is just a thing. An account clearly created to promote this thing, which is one of the biggest red flags, right? Like when someone comes out of nowhere and posits like a theory about a game that no one has ever talked about. And then on top of that, you know, like they wait a month and then they post a video and they claim there's a ton of red flags in that too, because they claim that they were doing it on a base PS4, right? But they don't show video of the PS4 running the game. They don't show the dashboard of the PS4, which would have been super easy to capture because this person uploaded supposed direct capture from it. The graphics were way too good to be base PS4 graphics. And then on top of that, they did some things that were dumb. Like they backported one of the models from NieR Replicant into... like that wouldn't have been a thing. And then, you know, people started claiming it was like, oh, well, maybe it came from 1.0. Well, how do you explain a model from a game that came out years later than being in it?
And there were also missing item indicators, which I think was
missing item indicators. People glitched through that wall in the city and found nothing back there. And then people were like, oh, well, maybe it spawns. I was like, there's no way. Like, you guys just want it to be true. And I get it, because this is like the modern version of the hunt for the Triforce in Ocarina of Time. It wasn't there, and someone was smart enough to just fake it convincingly enough. The difference is that in 2022, the bar is just way higher to convince people, because we've been through so many of these by now.
I was vacillating between, I never thought it was cut content or that they had access to like content that had been removed or anything. I was vacillating between Team Fake and Team ARG a little bit at the beginning. And then Steve, once more of the indicators came out that it was likely a mod, then I was like, okay, this is probably a mod. But I think what threw people like me off the scent at the beginning was the NieR Automata mod team's insistence that this is way beyond anything that mod community were known to be capable of at the current time. That's what kind of threw me off the scent at first, and then as more started happening, I'm like, this seems like it's probably a mod, a super impressive one, but it probably is a mod. But I think that's what, for me at least, added to the whole like mystery of the thing at the very beginning, which was like, well, if the mod team are saying that this is far beyond anything that's been known to be possible yet, then that's, wow, what could this really be? But then, yes, then the dominoes started falling, and it became a little bit more obvious that, yeah, this is probably just a really good mod. But I think what's so cool about this, even though it is, and I don't want to say just a mod, because the fact that it is a mod, it's not, maybe it's not as exciting as if it was actually lost content or something, but it's still really impressive what's been pulled off here. And what I think is so cool is that it was done in such a way that is so close to the actual identity of NieR and playing NieR Automata, the way the spiral hallway and the buildings come out as you're going through it, the way the secret church looks, it all has a really creepy kind of feel to it. And it was done in such a way that's organic to the game itself, right? That, there were things that you could pick out that, okay, yeah, this is probably a mod. But I got goosebumps the first time I saw them go through that door and go down that shaft and go in the spiral hallway, find the church. And I'm not going to talk too much about what's in the church because it is very spoilery stuff if you haven't played NieR Automata.
Well, spoilery stuff for a mod though, right?
Well, yeah, but there, and I know you know what I'm talking about, Steve. There's like a text log that comes up with a certain character.
Yeah.
That I don't want to like.
And this is why I stayed away.
And it's probably good that you did.
Because I do plan to play. I do want to try to get Automata played this year. So.
Mm-hmm. As Moon Rhoda points out in our live audience chat, it reminds them of the whole Ben drowned creepypasta, and it is a little bit reminiscent of that. And I think that's what I enjoyed about it so much is even once I kind of came around to the idea that it was probably a mod, the way the story, the made up story was unfolding was really fun to follow.
Oh yeah, I think
it felt very organic.
I think it was a really cool way to announce a mod, and honestly, and I wish I had like written this down somewhere, but I remember thinking like this is either my two minds of it when I first saw it was it's either a modder announcing that they've figured all this cool stuff out to mod, or that it's something related to the Switch version that's coming out soon. Like,
right.
Just a way to get people talking about NieR again ahead of the Switch release. And I quickly like kind of jumped off the Switch train because I was like, that doesn't sound like something they would do.
Especially with PlayStation prompts in the video.
Exactly.
Right? Or in the videos.
Like it just seemed, the thing that got me though, the thing that fully put me onto this is 100% a mod, was the second video where they get into the church and they encounter, there's a cutscene and they encounter a boss. And the cutscene somebody pointed out, because I haven't played through NieR yet. I should. It's a sin.
You should.
But somebody pointed out that all the dialogue was reused. And I was like, oh, it's definitely a mod. It's 100% a mod. Like, there's no way that a game would, for a cutscene, reuse dialogue. Not a chance. So once I saw that, I was actually talking with Imran from Fanbyte about this. And he was like, you know how hard it would be to add a boss? And I'm like, probably really hard, but I still feel like this was like a fan effort because one, the boss is also a reused model from somewhere else in the game.
Right.
So it's like, I get it. It's really cool and very sophisticated. And I love that about it. But yeah, just, once you start to realize that they just flipped different assets to use it. And I think from a modding perspective, the copied city was like the absolute smartest place to do this because there's no texture work. So like it makes it easy to create assets that could pass off as original because you don't actually need to texture them, which takes like a lot of the artistry out of the equation. So like, you could never be like, oh, that doesn't look as high quality. It's like, oh, it's just an untextured 3D model. It's the easiest part of the game you could possibly copy.
And it was also kind of like a 2 for the price of 1 type thing using the copied city, because there's that, as you just pointed out, Steve, as well as the fact that, at least for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but at least for me, when you're playing through the copied city part of the game, in the context of the story, that always felt to me like something that could have held more secrets. Even though it didn't, it felt like something that just it was such an intriguing area from a lore standpoint that it felt like there could be more buried there.
Mhm.
And so I think that really helped sell the story aspect of it as well. And it was the perfect jumping off point for this whole thing that ended up happening. And it ended up being a mod, and I don't want to say just a mod because it is incredibly impressive what is happening here. But despite the fact that it didn't end up being actual cut content or whatever, God, I had a good time. What a ride this has been the past
Yep.
week, and I just really, really enjoyed the whole experience. And this does serve as a good reminder that NieR Automata is coming to Switch in October. So if you have not played this game, please play this game because you don't have to play NieR Replicant to understand. I played it without having played Replicant or the original NieR, and it's one of my favorite games ever. So the hype is real about this game. Please play it. It is so, so good. And Steve, Derek, you guys got to go play it, man. I know you have a million other things to play.
Yeah, I know.
But you gotta
Call me back in about 130 hours,
I know.
apparently.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but it is really as good as everyone has said. And Danny, you have played it to completion, right?
Oh yeah, I played through all the endings. It's a game that if I feel like I could only play it once. It's one of those kind of situations where I don't know if I could have that same feeling again playing it a second time. I know we had a question like that a long time ago. Now I remember what I wanted to answer. But yeah, that's NieR Automata is something that I really enjoyed. That I kind of just jumped into it out of recommendation. I stuck with it for just the world, the story, the lore, the music, everything. And yeah, I highly recommend that. If you haven't played it, when it comes out on Switch, give it a go. And it's special. It's definitely a special game.
Yeah. It has things that, and I'm not going to spoil a thing. All I'll say is that it has things and it does things that only video games can do. And that's as far as I'll say. But it has storytelling mechanics that I think can only be done in a video game. And it really highlights what can make this medium so special from a storytelling standpoint. And that's all I'll say about that. Daniel, I know you know what I'm talking about, but that's all I'll say about it. Yeah.
Boy, does that game make me question my life.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, NieR Automata, amazing game. All right, let's read out some more super chats. We have had a few more come in. Let's see. First is Ryan Bourne with almost two pounds. Thank you very much. To see you near 100,000 is crazy. What a journey. Yes, thank you very much, Ryan. We are we're only about 1,300 subscribers away from 100K. We're so close to that six-figure club. So, as a reminder, if you like what we're doing here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you so much, Ryan. We're very excited about this milestone. Next up, our good friend RecBCQ is back with $5. Random fact that doesn't pertain to gaming, but I just found out that it seems my student loan debt is under half what I thought it was.
Nice.
Well,
That's a good feeling.
yes, that's a great feeling. Yeah, congratulations and thank you for the donation, Rec. Thank you. Mike Huge Ass with $2 Australian. Thank you. I agree, Ash. Strawberry shortcake is the best cake. Did I say that? I don't even like cake, really. I'm an ice cream guy.
I like strawberry shortcake, but it's best cake.
I like strawberry shortcake because Kirby likes strawberry shortcake, but I have to admit I'm more of an ice cream guy than a cake guy. So
I mean, more ice cream guy, also more pie guy.
Yeah, man, mud pie. That's like ice cream and pie. That's what I want. Now I'm
there you
hungry.
go.
Now, see, no, I've been craving a strawberry pie.
Ooh.
Ooh, that sounds good too. Yeah. Thank you, Mike, and I love that name. Love it. Next up is our good friend Goran Amber with $10. Welcome, Amber. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you for the donation. Wanted to share some good vibes in my life. In 2 weeks, I'll be a child's worst nightmare, an immunizer. I'll be vaccinating toddlers to geriatrics. Steve, Derek, bring your kids, and I'll jab them.
Well, I don't think my
hopefully you're a
kids
good
would.
jabber that won't
Yeah.
do it painlessly.
Yeah. I have
Yes.
no doubt that Amber can do it painlessly.
Yeah, I believe in you. But I will say, as being the parent that I am and my kids being the ages that they are, unfortunately, I'm out of the jabbing business for a while.
Yeah.
They're both fully immunized. I don't think either of them need anything until they turn 11. So,
Okay.
you know, like I feel like it was a lot more frequent when I was a kid, but maybe that's just because I hated it so much. So, yeah,
see
apparently
that.
you go many years in between some of these.
But yeah, seriously, congratulations, Amber. And you actually
really
did
cool.
DM me about
Yeah.
this earlier. And yeah, good vibes to you. Congratulations. That is so cool. What a wonderful achievement. So seriously, congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Scar the Dragon is back with another matchup. $2. Thank you, Scar. Daisy from the Mario series versus April from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You choose.
April.
Yeah,
I mean-
before I would have said Daisy, but after
Yeah.
Shredder's Revenge, it's got to be
Definitely
April. I think.
April. She's pulling up Chun-Li moves. Daisy's in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
April's been hitting the gym since like 1985 or whatever. She's
Yeah.
she's ready to go.
What about you, Daniel?
If Shredder's Revenge hadn't come out with a playable April, would you still say April?
No.
Probably not, because
Yeah,
I don't
probably
think her
not.
moveset and Nick Brawl would be enough to convince
They
me.
haven't.
true.
I know Rise of TNT had a kick-ass April, and I know 2013?
Oh
it had
yeah, that's
a
true.
more
To be
active
fair,
April.
yeah, I am assuming 80s April. If you assume a different version of April, then it could easily be her.
April's video game history is devoted either to being kidnapped or beating the piss out of people. I don't think we
Yeah.
can say the same.
There's no
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
either on or she's off, and if you catch her when she's on, Daisy's in trouble.
Yeah, if you assume like 2012 April or Rise April, then she wins anyway. But I was assuming 80s April, and
Me too.
I think she wins now after Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Gotcha.
Last super chat. Oh, sorry, Daniel.
Oh no, I gotcha. I guess I'll just I'll have to defer to April as the superior orange wearing character. Or orange.
Yeah.
I don't know. Graphic
There you
designer
go.
can't tell orange from yellow.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think they both wear yellow.
Yeah.
But
Well,
more
Daisy has a
orange,
little
yeah.
orange in her dress. Like
That's
it's mostly
true.
yellow,
Those
then she
highlights.
has orange. Yeah.
All right, last super chat for now from Zigzag. Thank you, Zigzag, with $10. Just want to say thanks to GVG for keeping me company on my move from the East Coast to LA. Can't wait for you guys to hit 100K. Well, thank you very
That's a
much,
long
Zigzag.
move.
And welcome to my neck of the woods. And we're
Hey.
happy to have you here in LA. And I hope you enjoy it here once you've gotten settled. Yeah, and that pretty much brings us to the end of the super chats for now. I'll read out any more we get at the end of the show. And we did have a little bit more news. The main thing, though, was the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 2 DLC. That's been announced.
Ooh.
You know, it's coming out on August 4th. But, you know, it's already past 6 o'clock, and we've got some patron topics to talk about. So we will talk about the Wave 2 DLC in more detail next week once we've played it. So as a reminder, though, it does come
boy.
out on August 4th. Waluigi Pinball is back. You all can rejoice. It is finally back. But we'll
We got a
talk
new
more in
level,
detail.
all based around ice cream. So there you go.
I know.
Ash.
What's
Finally,
it called?
more food.
Sky High Sunday. It's a brand
Yeah.
new track that hasn't come to Mario Kart Tour yet, and it looks so fun.
Yeah.
I'm so
Apparently
excited.
they can just drop a new
It's-
stage
it's-
whenever they want now.
It's definitely going to tour though, because I did not notice that any anti-grav.
I think I did notice anti-grav in another video on Nintendo's Japanese website. I think it does
Oh, was
have
there
anti-grav.
anti-grav? And then
Yeah,
in
I
the
think-
review trailer, I didn't see any anti-grav, so I could be wrong. Oh well.
But yeah, I'm looking.
I'll be
forward-
gone
we're all-
anyway, so I can't play it right when it
That's
comes
true.
out. So
Yeah.
that sucks.
But we're all looking forward to it. It does come out on April. We will be
Are we
streaming
gonna
it. of
are we
course.
gonna rank those again? I got asked
Probably.
that during the
Yeah.
Xenoblade
I
think we
stream
are, right?
today.
You are, because I need to get on that and correct some of the heinous crimes
Right.
committed on the first trailer, on the first list that we guys
Oh
down
my.
here.
You
Oh
watch.
my.
You get
Yeah.
into on this, and you'll agree with all of us on
Daniel and
on-
I didn't
We'll
get
see.
to participate in the Wave
That's-
1 rankings.
blood
so-
will be shed.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, Daniel's just readily agrees. Like, yeah, I got my
Ready.
knife.
Ready.
Let's go. I'm gonna
But yeah,
cut
so
you.
we'll talk more in depth about that next week on GVGcast once we've actually played it. The other thing, quick reminder for those of you still on the Smash Amiibo train, Steve and Alex are coming out on September 9th. Day before
I'm
my
getting
birthday,
those.
if you're-
Yay.
Nice.
I'm
Dude,
obviously
you're honor
invested.
bound.
Steve needs to get Steve and me.
Yeah,
I
Steve,
know.
you're
Yeah.
honor bound to get Steve. You have to.
I am. I might
I
have
don't
to
know if
buy
I'll get it or
two.
not. Like I've gotten most of I've gotten all the third party Smash Amiibo,
Mhm.
but this is definitely my hardest one. It's like, do I?
Terry
Nah, I'm not
Bogard
gonna
hasn't
bother.
come out yet, has he?
What's that?
Did I miss Terry Bogard?
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
He
Oh
come out.
shit!
You did. Yeah.
That wounds me.
The
That
Terry
wounds
one's
me.
really
I need
cool.
to
I got
find
that
one.
Yeah, Terry's great. But based on the release order, Sephiroth would be next, which is
Oh.
super exciting. I've got to get
Oh.
Sephiroth.
Yeah.
There's no way
Yeah.
I'm missing that one.
Absolutely.
They still have not confirmed the existence of a Sora amiibo, which tells me they're not going to make one. Hurts my heart, but you know,
Man,
I hope so.
I think
Maybe they will.
just to complete the whole fighter roster. You think they would?
And
I don't
they
know.
could make money hand over fist, because if they did make an amiibo for every Sora alt, I would buy every single one.
Oh God.
I mean, I said the same thing about Hero, and they didn't do that to. They didn't
I feel like
put that out.
Yeah.
they would have said that they couldn't
Square.
make one. if they
Yeah, my
if they
hope-
weren't going
yeah.
to.
My hope is that it's maybe just taking a little bit longer for them to work out the rights and get off, like get a mold that they're comfortable showing off, and then maybe they'll announce it in a future direct. But they haven't technically confirmed it.
I would say that it's probably not a hang up in the process of like a mold they're comfortable showing off. I bet it just has to go through layers of approval at Disney, and that is what's taking a long time.
That's
Almost
exactly.
likely.
Or
I'm
Nomura
just
has to
biding
approve it
my
as well.
time till Pyra/Mythra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
the poor man's figure, the $140 figure of Pirate Mythra, we'll just get the little amiibos instead, and I'm gonna be happy with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm certainly not giving up on the existence of a Sora amiibo yet. I totally admit it's still possible, and I'm crossing my fingers we get that announcement in an upcoming direct. But with that said, we have reached the point of the show where we talk about topics and answer questions suggested by our wonderful patrons at the producer tier and above. And if you want to find out how you can get in on that action, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming and check us out over there. But for now, we've got some questions to answer. So, Daniel, why don't you start us off, man?
Well, let's see here. So my question comes to us from Azran127, who's asking, I've seen many inanimate objects brought up to life as sidekicks in video games. So my challenge to you is thus, take one object you've not seen as a sidekick, give it a name, and explain what its personality would be, as well as what abilities it can offer to help the protagonist. I haven't gone so far as to name this just yet, but I had an idea of just like a little lantern companion, like the little lantern you'd hang at the side of your hip, and the little flame inside is the actual companion. But you can use the lantern to for all sorts of utility, whether it's to light a dark passage, light torches, think Zelda essentially, but also illuminates places where an object should be, but you see like the shadow, so it's actually it shows you where things should be, but they're not there. So you need that companion's help for such. And you could, like, if you have a bow and arrow, you can dip your arrow to the tip of the flame and shoot it that way to apply it to like torches in the background or something. I don't know exactly what I would name this character just yet, but that's like the starting idea for an inanimate object you'd have as a companion throughout your journey. And as because of that, there's no swimming areas because your poor friend would die.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
Nice.
That actually adds extra challenge. You got to find a way to protect your friend as you swim through these things. That's
yeah. So if you fall in the water, you have to retry, not because you fell in the water, but because your friend is no longer lit.
Snuffed.
Nice.
Snuffed
I like
out.
that idea. I kind of have Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle in my head as you're talking about that, like a
Living
a
flame.
like a living flame. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. That's a cool one. I had a hard time with this one. I'm still kind of formulating my idea. Derek or Steve, do you have one yet?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, go Steve.
my phone. I would name it K because in Japanese a cell phone is called Keitai. And it would be like my companion. It would talk to me, and it would be how I access my inventory. It would be like a dimensional pocket. You just reach through the screen
there you go.
and pull whatever you want out.
Oh.
The catch would be that every now and then in battle, you have to absorb electric elemental attacks to keep him alive. Otherwise, you lose access to your inventory until you charge it again.
I like it.
Nice.
They keep in charge.
Yeah.
That's a terrible battery life.
I feel like I don't remember which game it was, but didn't they do a version of this in one of the Pokemon games with the Rotom phone?
Yes, they did, and that was actually what I was thinking of when I
nice.
when I started
Oh,
coming
nice.
up with it.
Awesome. Derek, what about you, man?
I don't have any like real basis or anything like that, but the first thing that came to my mind is just like a set of earbuds. Call him Buddy.
Oh,
And I
Call
don't
him
know
Buddy.
what exactly yeah, there you go. I don't know exactly what it would do as far as helping. I honestly just best I got is changing the soundtrack, but also maybe that soundtrack will change up the fighting style. So as you load up new music into the buds, you get new combos or something like that.
Go
I don't
dark
know.
with it. They like put you into a trance and take control over your brain to make you more capable in a fight.
Cool.
nice.
Well, there you go. You get the
Yeah.
Splatterhouse method.
There you go. Combat trance. I like it.
Well, speaking of taking over your brain, I have kind of a dimension of that, but going in a different direction with it. My companion would be Tweak the coffee mug. He's a sentient,
Oh.
or they are a sentient coffee mug.
Tweak.
They have both fire and ice elemental attacks. They can attack with scalding hot coffee. They can freeze with iced coffee. They can replenish my HP with delicious iced coffee, or they can replenish both HP and MP. They give me energy and health. You guys know I drink coffee like all the time, every day. Yeah, why not have a sentient coffee mug? Plus, we've seen that it can work with Godo from the Ace Attorney series. He literally attacks. He like throws coffee at Phoenix. So I think that works. I've got my sentient coffee mug buddy idea fully formed in my head now.
I was thinking when you said Tweak, I just pictured the kid from South Park, and I was like, "Wait,
that's what I did too.
Oh man.
But yeah,
Same personality.
I was trying to think of other names, but I was like, well, Caffeine the coffee mug. That's boring. Like, okay, Energy or whatever. No, Tweak. It's got to be Tweak the coffee mug. Thank you for that.
It should be a very tiny coffee mug. You need to call him Grande.
There you go.
I like that too. Okay, so either Tweak the coffee mug or Grande the small coffee mug. Take your pick.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Thank you for that awesome topic, Azran. That was fantastic. Derek, why don't you read out your topic next, man?
I guess in the same vein, we have Kitty Kong facts saying Stray is a game where you just play as a cat in a cyberpunk city. So pick one animal and one setting to create your ideal game where the gameplay is just you are that animal in that setting. And for their example, I would love to play a game where you're a monkey in a gothic vampire castle town, which is just kind of funny itself.
I love that. Yeah.
And I guess I kind of built off that. I don't even especially like this animal, but it's kind of funny to me. Is not funny, but just kind of darkly humorous. A buzzard in a Dark Souls game. You just follow the protagonist around and you just, oh, cool, corpse, and just eat along as you go through. I don't know. Just a scavenge along. My other thought was like squirrel in some other game type. I don't know. But I don't have anything major. I just thought it was funny just thinking of a buzzard following around the protagonist. Like, oh, cool, thanks for the kill.
I feel like there's strong potential in a Untitled Goose Game-esque game starring a squirrel. Like, I feel like there's strong potential in a game where you just terrorize people as a squirrel.
Well, especially because terrorize people as a squirrel, but also like overcome obstacle courses that people make in order to get to the bird seed.
Oh, I like it. Oh, that's really good. I like this. I like where you're going with this, Derek. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my answer is boring. I mean, I know Stray was brought up in the answer. Y'all know I'm a dog person. I just want I want the Stray equivalent of a dog game. Like, seriously, that's really what I would want. But I also do want to take this. You what?
In a fantasy setting. So we got steampunk. There you go. Dog and steampunk setting.
But I would want it to be a small dog. I mean, I love all dogs, but I particularly love small dogs. So playing like as like a terrier or like, a Dachshund or something like that. But I want a dog game. But on top of that, I do want to take this chance to remind everybody that the Echo games were awesome. And I would love to see Echo make a revival. I love Dolphins. I'd love to play as Echo in a new game.
Totally what dolphins just do normally, fight aliens. That's obviously.
Yeah,
same genre.
Yeah, no, time travel. That's exactly what dolphins do. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love to have a dog game that is very much like Stray, but the dog version of that. So, yeah. Steve, Daniel, what about you guys?
All right, here's my take. I guarantee you this one hasn't been thought of before. My game will have you play as a panda, and it'll be a VR game, and the whole point will be to do what pandas do: play with tires, eat bamboo, hang out. But there's a twist. The gameplay twist is that it's a survival horror game. And the reason why it's a survival horror game is because it's a licensed game. You're not just a panda. You are Ranma Saotome's father. And you're living in a panda reserve, and you desperately have to avoid taking a bath, because then everyone will find out you're a creep who's living on a panda reserve, and they're constantly trying to get you to have sex with other pandas and bathe, and you have to dodge it constantly.
Oh my God, I am in. I am all in on this. You knew you were going to get me with the Ranma tie-in, Steve. How dare
now I just want to see Shampoo as like somebody mod the cat from Stray to be Shampoo.
That would be amazing.
That's a good one. Yeah, a Shampoo cat skin for Stray. That would be cool.
Now I need
love
we
it.
need the modders that worked on NieR to put shampoo into Stray.
Exactly. Oh, those are great ideas, Steve. I mean, you got me. You had me in line. The rest of it was just gravy.
That's it. Hit me up, Bandai. We can make this happen.
Yeah. What about you, Daniel?
How am I supposed to follow that up
I mean,
from
really
something
hard to
like
follow
that?
up.
I should have went. You should have went last. My game would be. It'd be one that's set in like a sort of medieval time, and you play as some kind of avian, maybe an owl, maybe some kind of bird, maybe a pigeon or some sort, and you fly between separate cities in this world, and you're delivering letters back and forth to different
I
people.
like that.
You're delivering to either it could be a father to a daughter, it could be someone sending a letter to a loved one,
It's
and
like Death Stranding.
Yeah.
and and maybe you can just kind of also just land somewhere and listen into the people around. Maybe there's like a whole underlying story happening between these cities, and you're just listening in as a bird would, getting information. And you can use that to decide whether you want to send this important letter to someone that needs it or not, and it might affect parts of the story. Maybe you can play
I
like
love that this pigeon has a moral compass.
yeah, man. You could be like you could be like a matchmaker if you want this. You can prevent this scumbag from getting a letter to a lady, or I don't know. Maybe you notice that a letter got thrown into the trash, but you retrieve it and send it anyways because you think you should go for it. I don't know, things like that.
I love this idea.
You undersold yourself, but that's actually a pretty complete game
you're onto
idea.
something
It's a good
there, man.
game.
Got something cozy going on. Hit me up, indie devs. I'm available.
Yeah, I love that idea. To circle back to my answer for a second, Frequent Positron brought up a good point in our live audience patron chat, saying Okami is the dog version of Stray. Thoughts? I thought about Okami, and it is very much a dog game, but it's more a wolf, and I was talking about more a small dog, like a tiny, cute small dog. But Etienne Aubin then reminded me, Kid Icarus Uprising energy. I forgot you do play as a small dog in Kid Icarus Uprising for a little while, and that's closer to what I'm thinking about when I think of like my ideal puppy.
See, I was wondering if you were just going to go do the Rick and Morty spinoff as
the Snowball. You know what? And yes,
Small
then I
dog
could
in a
work with my
mech suit.
dad on a game because my dad voiced Snowball, so I'd like to work
Oh,
with him
wow.
on this game.
Oh my goodness!
I like the idea.
Wait, we had your dad on and he didn't ask any of us where his testicles are? This is bullshit.
I like that's a good idea. A Snowball game. I'll take that. But yeah, I was thinking more of a like puppy centered game.
Right.
Exactly. But thank you for that awesome
If
question.
one more thing, if anybody has not seen it yet, there's an indie game that was shown off earlier the other month. Time Flies, where you play as a housefly, and your goal is to accomplish the most things you can on your checklist before you die in like 60 or so seconds. And it's hilarious and looks silly, and it's great. I love these games where you just play as
dark.
these creatures.
That just reminds me of Mr. Mosquito at that point.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that game.
Right. And as Etienne Ben reminds us, you also don't do dog things in Okami. Yeah, there's a bark button, which I really appreciate that there's a button dedicated to barking. But yeah,
You can do dog things. You can pee wherever you want in that game. The world is your toilet in Okami. Don't you forget.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, there's a log. Isn't it? What's it called? It's like I can't remember, but it's like Golden Rage. I think it's called. It's got a little move called Golden Rage. Where Amy just pees. Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, on that note, thank you for that awesome topic, Steve. Why don't you go next, man?
All right. My topic comes from Vedron. Thank you very much. Says, mine's a very simple question. What's your favorite thing to come out of video games within the last 10 years? For me, it's HD 2D. With the potential that framework has for games of old and new, I see it boding very well for RPGs, and it may even branch off into other genres. Oh, man, this one's tough for me because as somebody who's played games for a long time, I feel like there isn't a lot of innovation going on anymore. It's more interesting narratives and stuff that really get me deeply interested in games these days. But I would have to go with, and I feel like this is a bit of a layup, but the way that Nintendo and Monolith Soft reinvented kind of the open world genre with Breath of the Wild. I feel like I don't know what it is, but like the approach to open world design that they started with that hasn't really been replicated yet. And it's to this day, it's like probably in my top 3 favorite games of all time just because of how fun it is to actually explore the world they created. And I don't think a lot of developers have gotten that right even since, but a lot have tried to emulate it. That would be my simple one, but I would probably have stolen HD2D if you hadn't put it in in that Vedron, because I think it's one of the most striking art styles of the last 20 years even.
Yeah, HD2D is a really good one. I struggle to think of something else that has affected me on that level. I was going to say Street Pass, because Street Pass was like such a fun, special thing to me.
Ooh.
But I just barely missed the 10-year mark on that. It launched in 2011, so we're just barely outside the mark on that one, because Street Pass would have been my answer. I think I have to go with, if and I don't want to, it would be probably HD2D, but I don't want to copy that answer. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with the higher definition haptics introduced first in the Switch, Switch controllers, but smoothed out even more in the DualSense, alongside the adaptive triggers. I love high definition haptics. I think they add when they're well done, I think they add so much to a game. And I know the adaptive triggers aren't for everybody on the DualSense, but I think they're fucking cool. And the first time I played Astro's Playroom, that to me felt like a true next gen moment. I'm like, holy crap. And like when you're playing Astro's Playroom and you feel all the different surfaces you're like going across, and you feel it, I'm like, this is cool.
It's cool, but I've already started to see. Granted, I haven't played a lot. There's not been a lot of PS5 games that come out. It's also seeming to become one of those things that just sort of fall by the wayside already.
Mm-hmm. They have to be done. You have to really. It has to be like a focus of development, right? Like I have played quite a few games now where it's clearly an afterthought, but when it's done well and it's done thoughtfully, it adds a lot to the game, in my opinion. So I guess, absent HD2D, and because Street Pass wouldn't count, that's going to be my answer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of kind of like how Ash was saying with Street Pass. I was kind of thinking Miiverse as well, for what the phenomenon that was, but it doesn't exist anymore, so I don't think I should really count it. As far as like something that we were seeing more and more in games lately, is just the fact that there's so many games that are finally being more kinder with accessibility. You're seeing a lot of accessibility options in games these days, like with Ratchet and Clank, with Horizon Zero Dawn. So many options for people. Some that are very friendly towards those that may be a bit handicapped and may not be able to play games the same way that you or I can. And just to see that starting to be a lot, developers are a lot more aware of this going forward, about having more options, even from the fact that you can just have more difficulty options as well. Just something as simple as that makes their games more accessible to people in playing games. I really appreciate being able to see that, because I do know some people who maybe they can't play a game because of the way that they can't play high speed games, or they can't the position of buttons makes it difficult. Like for shoulder buttons, for example, they make it difficult for them to interact with the game controls. That's just something that I'm glad to see more of going forward from here on, and it's great to see.
That's a great answer, and that's particularly true of the Xbox adaptive controller. What they've been able to do with that controller in particular is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agreed.
Awesome.
Honestly, you guys have taken most of the really big ones that I can think of. The only thing I really have left is sort of an element of Dark Souls and Elden Ring that I want to experience, but I haven't really had a chance to. Just the shift in storytelling, where you present ideas but don't necessarily explain them, and just sort of allow your players to envelop themselves in your world and sort of encourage them to explore and discover and learn more about it. I don't know if that's within the last 10 years or not, but it feels more prominent now with just how big that genre's exploded, and how you see that with even beyond that Dark Souls with like Hollow Knight and whatnot. So just sort of going that old school side where you're just thrown into the world and you gradually learn about it. I don't know. I like that idea of this. Yeah. That. Otherwise, again, HD2D, because God, I want to see so much more. Take advantage of that.
Same.
Oh, yeah.
Mayosama 13 in our YouTube chat, great name by the way, said Gyro. And while I love that answer, that is unfortunately, like Street Pass, outside of the 10-year mark that we have to consider for this. But if it wasn't, Yeah, I would have said Gyro because Gyro has added so much to me, or to the games that support it in terms of aiming. I
Mhm.
cannot go back to games that don't have that only have right thumbstick aiming. I've been playing Power Wash Simulator and I really like it, but I desperately
Why?
desperately want Gyro in it. Desperately. It just adds so much that fine movements of the right stick just it's not the same. But unfortunately, Gyro doesn't count because it
This
didn't.
man really said earlier in the show that he hasn't found the time for Xenoblade, but he's like, I've been power washing.
No, I
No,
said I've been.
he said he
No, I
hasn't
said I
found the
was
time
going
for
to.
Live Alive.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
no, I was gonna play Live Alive last night after I got home, but I realized
But you
I was way
power
too
washed?
tired because I'd gotten done with an 11-hour flight and I want to be awake for Live
He,
Alive.
he needs to
Power
de
Wash Simulator is
stress.
the kind of game that you don't need to be awake to appreciate the story.
That's
Whereas
fair.
that's why. No, I will be playing Live Alive tonight. Don't worry.
I told you it's therapeutic.
It really is. But yeah, Live Alive is the kind of game where I want to be awake and add attention, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. Thank you for these awesome topics, everybody. So my topic this week comes from Colin. Thank you, Colin. And your question is: I've been playing some C14 Dating, and that is a Picross / dating sim game about falling in love at an archaeology field school. Its protagonist is
It's a deep
diabetic, a
cut.
very common condition that you don't see represented in media that often. This got me thinking: what are some good video games you played that taught you about experiences of people of cultures / abilities / etc. different from your own? So thank you for this really cool topic, Colin. First of all, C14 dating, what you described it as, that is so specific. That's so cool. A combination
Yeah.
Picross dating sim game about falling in love at an archaeology field school. Wow. Talk about niche, but that's really neat. So I love this question. And the first game that comes to my mind is Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, because it deals with psychosis. And that is not something that I have ever had to deal with. And as I understand it, that is Senua was backed up by official mental health bodies, like saying, yeah, this really does accurately represent what life can be like for people who experience episodes of psychosis. So that is one that really stands out in my mind. And they're making Hellblade 2 right now. It did well enough that they're making a sequel. Now, here comes another mega mention, and you'd be surprised that there's a mega mention that I could make during about a question like this. But Mega Man Star Force, the protagonist, suffers from significant depression. Now, I do too, so this isn't something that is different from my own, and I know what depression is like. But I was really impressed by the unflinching way in which Mega Man Star Force didn't really shy away from showing just how depressed the main character Geo is. He loses his dad at a young age. It clearly affected his mental health, and he can be difficult to deal with for a lot of the characters around him because they don't really understand where he's coming from. They don't understand what it's like to be depressed in the way he is. And so I really always thought that it was cool the way you wouldn't think a Mega Man game would do something like that, but it did it. I don't know if they did it on purpose, but they did it well, and I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so I did want to at least highlight those two specific examples, but there is also a really cool game that I covered during the Game Explain days called Mulaka, and that was specifically showcasing South American culture, I believe.
Hmm.
And I did a whole interview with the devs about it. Yeah, it takes place in northern Mexico and is based on the indigenous culture of the Tarahumara. And I remember interviewing the devs about it and just learning about what a rich culture that was. And I thought it was really cool how they were able to make an entire game about that. And I just thought it was really cool being exposed to that through that game. And the game itself is pretty fun too. So, yeah, I just thought this was a really cool question. But what about you guys?
I'm still
I-
thinking.
I think what's it called? Is it Raja? Because it seems sort of idea that you had, Ash, with the Raji. Thank you, Moon Rhoda and Dan Alpha Lion.
Raji. Mhm.
It goes much since it's developed by an Indian team. It could go into the Indian culture and gods much more so than you typically get. They just pull from the big ones. They go into a lot of those that mythology that for them than I've ever seen before. And the game itself is okay, but the culture aspect, it definitely struck me, and I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. So
Nice.
that's probably what I pick.
I never played it. I always wanted to. I just never got a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
You
Man,
guys still thinking?
It's a really tough question
It's,
because I like to play fantasy games a lot. So it's like
that's the
that's
Sure.
yeah, like if someone's like, "Hey, this is a real story," I'm like, "Cool, I'll read about it in a book." But like I will choose a minor cop out here, and I will say that one of the things, because I like to study Japanese culture and their history, and Ghost of Tsushima is actually based on a true story of what happened in Japan.
Oh.
I want to say around the year 737, and I had no idea. I thought it was just made up shit, like a good setting for somebody to go kill a whole bunch of people. And obviously the characters in the game are completely fictionalized, but the events that occur in the game are actual historical events that happened in Japan around that time. So it was really cool to hear about the Mongolian invasion of Japan, which is something I had never even thought of, something that I didn't even realize had occurred in Japan's history. And just to see the realistic depictions of like extreme violence that occurred there, and then reading about it later on, I was like, holy hell, like I had no idea that had happened. And Japan, unfortunately doesn't have the most wonderful history when it comes to invasions and other heinous shit. If it weren't for Nintendo, I wouldn't want to go there. But yeah, I would just say that taught me something that I didn't know about history, and certainly contributing factors to Japan's current culture. And I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I wish I had a better answer, because I know that there's games out there that I've learned stuff from, but I've played so many of them and I try to escape from reality with them. So I tended to be like, yeah, I would rather wield a lightsaber or the Master Sword and not think about what a trash fire of a planet we live on.
Well, I hate to blow up your answer, but Steve, Genji did the actual ancient Japan thing years ago with its giant enemy crabs, man. I'm just,
well, yeah,
obviously that's actual ancient Japan.
Well, yeah, samurai were trained to, hit them on their underside for massive damage.
Exactly. Daniel, you got anything, man?
One of the ones that I thought of, because I experienced people in my family with certain conditions that are explained in this game, was Inside of To the Moon, which if anyone's played that, it's a psychological drama where essentially there are people who are hired to like implant memories so that they can fulfill their wish before they pass on, and they kind of go through the past of a man. And I remember there was just some dialogue that I remember way back then about people feeling like they have to pretend that there's somebody else in order to fit in, and they can't really be themselves with certain people. And I remember that speaking to not just me, but also other people who kind of go through the same situation. And then just other characters, I believe her name was River, who was implied to have Asperger's syndrome. And just certain I remember, there were certain characters that they connected with that you kind of are placed into the situation of how do you communicate and handle a situation where these people are having a condition that you yourself haven't had yourself. It's I don't ever want to spoil this game because it's still very good for anyone that hasn't ever played it. Wonderful. Yeah, it's on Switch, wonderfully written and everything. But that's something that came to mind. And it's definitely a more like personal thing where you kind of go in to understand these kind of characters and how they adapted to these lives. And it's hard to put into words without also spoiling things about it. But sure. That's probably my answer for that one. It's really very good.
Nice.
Dat Alpha Lion mentioned in our live audience patron chat two games that I can't believe none of us mentioned: Psychonauts 1 and 2, the poster children for this question. That is these unique characters that suffer from a variety of mental health struggles and mental illness, and that is such a good point. Thank you for that reminder, Alpha Lion. And there was something. Let's see. I can't find it now. That's okay. But basically, someone in our patron chat had also mentioned, going back to the Mega Man Star Force thing, how even after Geo kind of recovers from his depression, he never really fully recover from it. But even after he comes out of the worst of it and has friends helping him, he still has, he still experiences episodes of relapse. His depression relapses, and I thought that was also very interesting and thoughtfully realistic in terms of what depression is really like. So Anyway, I digress, but thank you for that amazing question, Colin. And that, except for our last few super chats, does bring us to the end of the show. But go ahead.
Real quick, just to mention, I did not realize this, but Asperger's syndrome is an outdated name according to chat. It is now known as autism spectrum disorder. So,
I didn't know that
well,
either.
thank you for mentioning
Thank
that.
you
I
for
did not know
educating
that.
us.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I used
thank you
the
for that,
wrong
Derek.
term. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Oh no, there's no way you could have known. But thank you for highlighting that, Derek.
something to learn.
All right, but yeah, that is our patron topics for the week. And as a reminder, if you want to find out how you yourself can suggest topics for us to discuss each week, head on over to patreon.com/gbgaming. That said, we do have a few more super chats to read out. First is Adam Sosa with $5. Thank you very much, Adam. Hey, GVG, had to do some self repairs to my Xbox One this week, which got me curious. Do or have you guys attempted console repairs yourselves?
God, no.
No,
I've done it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Steve
has. Yeah, I know Steve has.
Well, so when I was much younger, and when my niece was much younger, so this was back in like the halcyon days of the Wii. My sister came and visited me, and I put my Wii in my room because I knew that my sister's then toddler would mess with it, and I just wanted to avoid that. This little bitch went in my room, found it, and stuffed my Wii full of quarters, like just a bunch of them. And so I had to take it apart. Yeah, I was deeply unhappy.
I mean,
of course you were.
I'm 90% sure Kai got the GameCube disc for Super Mario Sunshine out of the GameCube and put it into the PS4. Like,
wow.
Oh no,
because it will not play disc anymore. But I don't feel comfortable taking it apart. I don't know how easy it is to get to the hard drive, to the disk drive, in order to maybe fetch it out. So, but it still works all the digital stuff. I just might not have a kind of working disc reader.
With a disc, it's actually not super hard. There's like a manual eject that you can do on those. You have to open it for sure, but it's like there's a manual eject on most of those slot loading disk drives, and if you pull it enough, the disk will eventually slide out enough to where you can grab it and take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ship it to Spawnwave. We can do a collab.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I personally have never attempted any repairs myself. I don't feel as though I have the confidence or tinkering knowledge to do such a thing. What about you, Daniel? You were about to say
The only thing I've really done is take apart Joy-Cons to try and fix the drift myself, and that is to take apart and also to replace them with other like shells to like give the left side an actual D-pad. And there's a lot of layers to that. I could do it pretty easily now, but the first time I was like, there was like a science experiment on my table just trying to deconstruct this poor Joy-Con and put it back together again, which is very, very sensitive to certain part, like the shoulder buttons.
Springs in the Joy-Con are the most like nerve-wracking part.
yeah, that is right. Oh my god, no. It fixed it for a while, but sometimes the drift comes back. I'm just like, oh god.
This is my Splatoon Pro controller, and almost none of the parts in this are original anymore.
Oh wow,
really?
Like
No,
I've replaced everything at some point, like all new thumbsticks, all new buttons, just because I've tried to keep the shell and the grips like alive forever. So, but I had bought a new Pro controller and I completely cannibalized it and put it inside the Splatoon controller guts. But now we have a new Pro controller coming out, so I guess I just have to buy that one.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Adam. Next up is Scar the Dragon once again with $2 more. Thank you, Scar. Any thoughts about Minecraft banning NFTs? Me, yes. And I think you know what we're all gonna say.
Obviously.
Fuck yeah, man. Hell yes.
Of course.
We agree with you.
I had no idea they did. I don't follow Minecraft, but good, because there's a lot of kids on that platform. And NFTs are predatory, so screw it. I don't need my kid asking me to buy her an NFT.
Exactly. Hey, it's Dingo with $5. Thank you. Hey, it's Dingo. Question for Ash. Which is your favorite male Ranma dub voice? Sarah Strange or Richard Ian Cox? Sarah Strange all the way, baby. Nothing wrong with Richard Cox. Perfectly talented actor, but Sarah Strange is forever my Ranma. And I was gutted when she was replaced in season 4 on. And I just, when I hear Ranma, I hear Sarah Strange. What about you, Steve, as the other resident Ranma
same.
fan?
Absolutely. Okay. I remember hearing the change when I was young, and I was like, what the fuck happened to Ranma? Like,
yeah. Exactly.
I definitely identify with early Ranma as opposed to later Ranma.
Same. Also, Hey It's Dingo was the patron who brought up that point about Geo that I mentioned earlier, and I just couldn't find your line in the live audience chat. But yes, Hey It's Dingo, thank you for making that great point about Geo. And finally, we've got RecBCQ one more time with $5. Thank you so much. Idea for an animal game: a sloth in a construction site where his goal is to use the machinery and scaffolding to climb to the top. I dig it.
The building will be finished by the time he reaches the top.
Yeah, exactly. I keep coming back to your idea though, Daniel, the carrier pigeon game. That is genuinely a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see this made. I'm serious, man.
I can see it happen. Yeah. Next indie world. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah. Well, everybody, that does finally bring us to the end of episode 21 of the GVG cast. Thank you so much. We love doing this with you every week. As a reminder, please do head over to patreon.com/gvgaming to check us out. We offer a variety of tiers that you can support us at. But one of those tiers is the producer tier, and we could not do this show every week without the amazing contributions of all our producers. So thank you so much for all you do for us every week. So yeah, we owe you a massive thank you every week. But we owe an extra special thank you to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine, amazing, wonderful, incredible folks are Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, Christopher Baque, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Critter XD, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotik, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Pagrema, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Eddie B, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Jessica Toad, Deaneth, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCaw, Nope, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Too Much Spaghetti, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Nathan Steele, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, Rosa Pardo Bowling,
Hi, Mom.
Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Dinner Sonic, Darik, Nova the Artist, Blaystar 25, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Keel, Willow Pingree, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Ryan's Fault, Brainchild, Pat Pending, Jim Wakeland, Lauren Bond, Sridhar Ayala, Andy Mine P, Ad, Kyle the Monarch, Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Kyle Gamer and Barry Rookie, Jay Brox, Revolver Axolot, and finally, last but not least, Blaze Collard. Thank you all so much for supporting us the way you do. We love you all so much. Once again, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming if you'd like to check out the tiers you can support us at. But even if you can't do that, it means the world to us if you just like and subscribe right here on YouTube. We are so incredibly close to 100K right here on YouTube. With that said, we're heading out to our patron exclusive post show. You all have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
If we meet again.